Pokemon Infinite Fusion has added new Pokemon to the game, so we're going to be doing a playthrough using only fusions that contain at least one of the new Pokemon. We'll decide which ones after each gym using this wheel. There's a ton of crazy cool fusions, so make sure to stick around until the end to see over 100 new amazing fusion creations. Our rival's name is going to be Jimothy. I don't know why, but it is. If you want to be named after the rival next, get on your knees and beg. Or maybe just comment a name down below. For our starter, we chose the obvious answer, the best Gen 1 starter, Bulbasaur. No discussion needed. We then destroyed our rival's Grider, and time for the wheel. The first new Pokemon we received from the mighty wheel was Phantom, which is one of my favorite Pokemon actually. He is so adorable. We named him Stumpy for now. Then caught a bunch of random Pokemon since everything is random in the game. Items, gym types, wild Pokemon, everything. Since the first gym is going to have 2 Pokemon and I want to see as many new fusions as possible, we grabbed another from the wheel, which ended up being Tyrunt. We named him Rex, but again, this name is not going to stay. Time to mash some Pokemon together. Pidgey and Phantom was adorable and almost looked like a handmade toy, while Oddish looked unhappy to be here. Man, this guy looks like a 2-week-old blueberry that just rolled under a fridge. His reverse was pretty cute though. A little woodman. Tyrunt also looked pretty good with Cubone, though it is kinda sad that any Cubone fusion is just wearing its parent's skull. Anyways, with our wooden bird and sad T-Rex, it was time to catch more Pokemon. Anywho, Brock was using fairy-type Pokemon. They stood no chance to Stumpy, our wooden decoy. One gym down, one more Pokemon from the wheel. Oh, Sableye, nice. Sableye and Zubat went surprisingly well together, becoming an imp of sorts. And the reverse was a blinged out bat with crystal wings. I love it. Chikorita made, not a custom, but its reverse was much better. The gems are nice, but you could work on your smile. Pidgey and Sableye made a cute treasure hunter bird, while Chansey and Tyrunt made Birdo. What was the first game you guys ever played that had this character? I ended up keeping the big Yoshi from Super Mario RPG.
He's sick!
And oh yeah, Stumpy evolved into Pidgeotto. Look at his little hands holding up his wings. Why is he so cute? As cute as it was though, I wanted to see even more fusions, so I made Growlithe and this scary wood statue. Mischievous also made what looked like a grass-type regional form. I really liked the mask. And since we weren't using Pidgeotto anymore, I decided to fuse it with Sableye, making a bigger treasure hunting bird. I named it Karma after one of my channel members, which is going to be the theme of the names from now on. I also renamed Stumpy Skinner, and Rex is now Venom. Thank you so much for those who are supporting in this way. On our way to Cerulean, we met with Brock and scared some bad guys after messing up their experiment. Misty was an easy battle because Skinner could set up Ingrain and use Growth and Confuse Ray before sweeping through her Abath and Cluster of Unknowns. That kinda spells out their name. Cheeky. Now it's wheel time. Ooh, Delmise, okay, that could make some cool ones. Machoke and Delmise made a sunken pirate stuck in a wheel. It looked super cool, especially with all the kelp. Slowbro became so sickly that its shelter ran off and it had to replace it with a wrecked ship. And Rapidash became the Greek mythological origin of horses. The bubbles look fantastic. The Delmise fusions are now going to be named Atomic, by the way. I left the rest of the team how it was and continued on. I thought Jimothy wanted to battle, but instead he sent out this greasy street vendor instead, trying to sell me some pocket watches? Atomic was having none of it. Chonky Yoshi, or Venom, tried to defeat his starter, but after getting poisoned, we switched out into Karma to finish it off. Skinner then set up on the softest looking bat and defeated it with a ghostly spider right behind, using Feint Attack. We then sent Jimothy packing with his pocket watches. You'd think Jimothy would take his loss and move on, but no. In Vermilion, while taking a break on our cruise ship, he showed back up, insisting we buy from him. But this time, he was selling insurance. Earthquake insurance. Unfortunately, Venom didn't have such insurance, so we had to switch out into Skinner and almost fainted to a sucker punch. Not a very clean business practice, but I guess it is insurance we're talking about. Luckily, Skinner was able to knock out the Joltang and then switch into Atomic to finish off Muster, and his adorable Shupper. Someone must have brought his son to work, and I would buy anything he's selling. With that, Jimothy stormed out once again, vowing to find something we would buy. Not sure what his deal is, but after our cruise we went in to face Surge and his Dark-type Pokemon. Atomic absolutely decimated his Trapinch fusion with Flame Wheel, and suddenly we were faced with a God fusion, Arcrua. I switched in Karma to lower his accuracy with Sand Attack, but he kept hitting punishments. Surge then switched into Zopuff, who was not happy. We switched ourselves back into Atomic and knocked out this grumpy Puff, leaving just the Arceus fusion. Our switch into Skinner saved us from taking an Earth Power, and then after landing a Perish Song, Leech Seed, and Confuse Ray, we switched back into Atomic. We got lucky with Confusion and managed to outlast the Perish Song, defeating this god Pokemon. It's incredible how strong Arceus fusions can be. Time to add Carvanha to the team. Though I didn't really have any fusions for Carvanha at the time of this run, so we evolved it into Sharpedo. We named Sharpedo Bruce and then fused it with Ursaring, creating a Sea Bear. This Magikarp looked like a cursed submarine, and Gyarados was pretty cool, but not quite as fierce as I was expecting. This Smeargle decided to paint its own fusion reference, and my favorite Sharpedo fusion we found was this Machoke, as he became a Lifeguard Surfer Shark. Such a fun fusion. Dhelmise and Sceptile was alright, and Blaziken... Hey, what are you doing in the water? Gliscor made a pretty cool fusion with his Anchor for a tail, but I decided that the Sea Beast Gyarados was too cool to pass up and added him to the team. Growlithe and Sableye became the goodest Crystal Boy, while Arcanine looked a little disturbing, but the crystals were cool. Totodile became adorable and very sharp looking, and as it evolved it just gained more gems, and eventually Feraligatr just slept on a gem pile. We evolved Phantump into Trevenant and fused it with our starter Bulbasaur, and it looked amazing and super creepy. There were several variations of this fusion that also looked just as cool. Ivysaur grew a pumpkin on its back, and Porygon became a totally normal tree. How weird. Arcanine also looked amazing as a forest demon dog. Finally, it was time for Tyrant to evolve into Tyrantrum. Porygon 2 was not a custom fusion, but its alternates held some well-known references. I'm curious how many people know this guy. Tyrantrum and Duskull created an epic death dino, and his ult was especially cool. Though I have to say I like this Mummy Dusclops fusion a little bit more. The final fusion for now was an artsy T-Rex, and the reverse was a reference to a spin-off game that desperately needs a new installation. Now we have a whole new team. Time for Lavender Town. In the Pokemon Tower we encountered Jimothy practicing his life insurance pitch? Not really the place, man. Venom defeated Wooser with Thunder Punch, and Skinner managed to defeat his amazing Houndoom fusion with Fire Fang. Roserade's fusions never miss. Quiddig didn't know what hit it. It was an extreme speed. And finally Karma came in to show off his gems before finishing the battle with Crunch. In Celadon City we found more Team Rocket goons mucking about in the sewers, so with Erica's help we flushed them out. We then found ourselves facing their boss, Giovanni. Sandvile was no match for Bruce's mighty surfing skills, and Venom used his head as a weapon for smashing Chindos out of the sky. Karma popped Giovanni's balloon, which was somewhat uncalled for, but it won us the battle. Time for our fourth badge. Erica's gym was an absolute breeze as we defeated her fighting types with just Skinner. Hornleech is kinda busted. Time for the Wheel, which gave us Noivern, one of the coolest Pokemon in my opinion. Noivern fused with Venusaur was super pretty as its wings became flowers and pollen just flowed all around it, but Jolteon looked like a menace. This is the kind of Pokemon that would strike the fear of God into anyone it approached. This Arbok fusion was alright, but the alternate was pretty amazing with this big eye patterns on the wings. I kept the Jolteon fusion and added Gi to the family. With our new fusion, we easily swept through the tower, saved an old man whose life alert had malfunctioned. Maybe Jimothy is onto something. Woke a sleeping beast and made our way to the next gym. Also, look at this adorable Jolt King. I have never seen something so cute and yet so fierce at the same time. Koga's grass types didn't know what hit him. Gi knocked out his bird with Discharge and then boom bursted his poor melting pile of goo. Skinner finished off Veneno with Fire Fang and Extreme Speed, leaving Venom to head smash his dopey looking elephant, winning our fifth badge. More Wheel. This time our winner was Hawlucha, which is a Pokemon I've never really used before, but I'm sure they're gonna make some cool fusions. Time to change up the team. Porygon and Tyrantrum was insanely goofy, but its reverse looked like some sort of mech bird that I would assume is from Digimon, but I'm not sure. Muck just dissolved the poor dino, and its reverse was just a tar pit version of it. Nice. Pikachu became a rough and tough version that I could definitely see being a past Paradox form, and Aggron looked insanely bulky and ready for a fight. Its reverse though? Mwah! Perfection, amazing, stellar, incredible. Armored Pokemon are the best, and I love them. Dhelmise gave Venusaur a lighthouse on its back, and Machamp lost its head. Gardevoir became a pirate whose giant anchor reminded me of a One Piece character and their massively oversized weapons. I'm looking at you, Mihawk. Gallade became Davy Jones, and Venusaur and Trevenant finished off the scary pumpkin line. Nidoking looks like some evil creature you'd find lurking in the deep dark woods. I decided to keep Trevenant and Delibird because it was perfection, though not this one. It's reverse. I don't know why, but the red and white just goes so well on this fusion. Plus, 'tis the season. Or maybe not, depending on when this comes out. Finally, Hawlucha and Dugtrio made a Thumb War wrestling pit, which was super funny, and Machop became a football player. The real winner though was this Charizard, and its multitude of color combinations. Whoever made these, well done. Welcome Nacho to the team. Silphco went without a hitch, rescuing everyone and evolving Bruce into a Machamp, giving up his profession as a lifeguard to chase his dream as a WWE fighter. Jimothy was super easy to defeat, though he did have a cool Scizor fusion, and Giovanni was a complete joke, even with his amazing looking Dusknape. After chasing him off, it was time for the gym so that we could see even more fusions, since, let's be honest, that's what you guys are here for, fusions. Sabrina's water Pokemon packed a punch, but we were ready for it. Guy destroyed his Palcon and all of its children with Discharge. Moraligator then took a massive Horn Leech, and Bruce barely survived 2 Earthquakes to take down his Quadragon with Slaps. Her final Pokemon, a Mega Swampert, took massive damage from Atomic's Giga Drain before Bruce finished it off with Aqua Jet. Time for more fusions. Hypno and Sharpedo is one of my worst nightmares, and he's coming for you if you don't subscribe. While Feraligatr actually turned out pretty cool, almost like a Garchomp. Speaking of, this Landshark looks incredibly goofy until you see its alternate, which is some sort of battle shark with a shark Garchomp riding on it. This is straight out of Sharknado 8. Speaking of, yeah, it also makes some cool boat ones. Our Wheelspin brought us Regice, which we fused with Mamoswine to see this goofy dude, and the Slowpoke, which is just frozen in a block of legendary ice. Machoke becomes Diamond Head from Ben 10, while Machamp is just Diamond Head with 4 arms. Sableye and Raichu made this little guy, who apparently can also be Tetra from Zelda Phantom Hourglass? Weird. Of course Garchomp is a dragon protecting its horde, but this Mega Garchomp looking fusion and the crystal textures are simply perfect. Kingler becomes a Super Saiyan greedy form of Mr. Krabs, and Nidoking? What are you doing? Anyways, this Steelix was epic, and I'm pretty sure it's a reference to some creature from another game, but I don't know. I loved it, so we added it to the team. Blaine had some cool Pokemon and some frightening ones, but they went down relatively easy. It was now time to stop Giovanni, which if you have no idea what part of the story this is, go and check out this video after this. We have to defeat Zapmalcuno, the first ever triple fusion. It's actually even canon in the manga, surprisingly. Leading with Karma, this battle was a piece of cake. It used Rock Slide, flinching most of the heads and knocking Articuno and Moltres out before ever taking damage. Diamond then came in to do massive damage against Zapdos, and Bruce finished it off with an Aqua Jet, winning the hardest battle fairly easily. From there we fought Giovanni and his Steel types, which weren't very exciting, and Jimothy gave us one last futile attempt to stop me. He had mostly boring fusions other than this Sword and the Stone guy, which is kinda cool. This now meant it was time for our final bout of fusions, and the final fights. If you guys have made it this far, comment the code word CheeseWhiz to confuse everyone that's quit too soon. You guys are the elite viewers. Starting with Tyrantrum, Cubone looked insane, though I don't really get the gold around its neck. And honestly, Marowak was not nearly as cool. Umbreon, on the other hand, was a moon dino, which is epic. Ho-Oh looked way too happy to be a flightless bird, and Magnezone made this cool metal Rex with an even cooler alt. Rhyperior became some sort of Fallout 4 monster covered in drill spikes, and Aegislash is every 12-year-old's favorite since it's a dino with a sword, but again, I like the armored dino with a sword even better. All of these tech dinos are nothing compared to the Genesect Rex. Mummy Rex was pretty intimidating, but I'm pretty sure as a T-Rex with boxing gloves and normally sized arms, this one's scarier. Then of course there's this. Arcanine and Noivern is a classic, simple, but amazing fusion, and Primeape is rocking with the boombox. Machop follows the same theme and becomes a rock band enthusiast. Infernape just looks like an off-colored monkey with wings, and Bisharp is just one giant blade. Finally, Charizard became a monstrous nightmare. Comment if you know where this one's from. Speaking of Charizard, Delmai's Charizard is amazing with its blue flames, and Golurk becomes an old-school diver. That or Big Brother from Bioshock. Garchomp looks like it's cursed, and Aggron looks like it's wearing old battle armor from the Pokemon War. Torterra just becomes a ship, and to be honest, if I was a pirate, this would be my ship. Imagine chasing a ship down and the crew makes it to land and run away from your ship, and then your ship gets to land and just climbs out of the water chasing after them. Insane. Stantler and Trevenant created some sort of beautiful forest garden, while Tyrogue became Majora with all of his masks. I love this Ursaluna Blood Moon form, and while Alakazam Trevenant wasn't that great, the alt is super spooky. If you guys are somehow still here, just wait. There's a few insane ones left, and I told you, we have a lot of fusions. I love this Gengar Regice, and of course Onix had to become a Crystal Onix from the anime. The coolest Regice fusion hands down is definitely the Rapidash, and its gorgeous fire and ice combination. Pirate Glade was pretty cool, and Sharpedo Rotom is definitely another reference that I just cannot understand, especially with all these forms. You also can't talk about sharks without drawing in one of these guys. Halocha Machoke looked super cool, and it just continued to improve as it evolved. Mawile Halocha was insane with this giant demon bird head on it. This Infernape is goofy looking, but the alts, surfing on gold or being made out of gold, is quite the flex. Salamence looked pure evil, and while this Palkia fusion's a little lackluster, wait until you see this. And the reverse. Giant cosmic space crystal? It goes kinda hard, not gonna lie. Can't forget to show off Charizard turning into Smaug, and finally Steelix and Tyrantrum becoming a giant spiky crystal dino. While I show off the team I picked, I want to know what was your favorite fusion from the video so far. Comment it down below because again, there were over 100 new fusions. Heading into the Elite Four, I'm only going to show the cool fusions that the members had. Lorelei had this buff Deoxys, which we've seen in other videos, but it's always cool to see it again, and it's incredibly strong. Bruno had nothing good. Agatha had this creepy Caterpie Giratina, which I'm not sure if it's cool or just awful, but now you've seen it. You're welcome. And finally, Lance had this amazing Kyogre Gliscor fusion, and you can never really go wrong with Kyogre. Finally, the final battle was here. Would we be able to win with these amazing looking new fusions? We led Bunny our Regice fusion, and after a ton of poison jabs and ice beams, we finally burned their heels and knocked out their Glace Flame. Nacho made quick work of Mansol with Flying Press, but then was knocked out by a Glaciate from this Kyurem fusion. Venom came in and barely managed to survive enough to take it out with Earthquake. Jimothy's Poriuk then tried to use Magic Coat on Bruce, but unfortunately for them, we were a physical attacker, and they went down. A red Oricorio fusion hit the field and then fell just as fast to an Earthquake, leaving just one Pokemon left, and we still had 4. Easy win. Surprisingly, this Pokemon knocked out Skinner, Karma, and Bunny with Gunk Shot, leaving me with just Bruce in a one-on-one. I thought this was it. But somehow we outsped and defeated them with a single Earthquake, winning the battle and the run. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and comment your favorite new Pokemon added to the game and maybe your fusion from the run. Also check out GamerSup's link in the description. Peace.